Have you ever tasted champagne, Will?
Can't say that I have, no, sir.
Franklin Greenwood gestured to his butler, Lemuel Clegg, who directed one of the uniformed staff members standing by with an open bottle toward Will. Just a splash, said Franklin, then leaned over toward his grandson, seated to his right, and winked. It's not as if we don't have something to celebrate.
That's right, sir, said Will.
He watched the crystal liquid swirl around the bottom of his glass as the waiter withdrew the bottle. Will raised his drink, imitating his grandfather, and touched the glass to his. To the prophecy, said Franklin.
To the prophecy,
said Will. He took a sip and grimaced at the bitter bite of the effervescence. Franklin drained his glass in one greedy gulp and held it out for more. The nearby staff member holding the bottle rushed to refill it, without appearing to hurry. I can't tell you what joy these last few months have brought me, Will. I've never wanted anything more than to share with my family the blessings I've worked so hard to create. And as you know, for the longest time, I'd given up imagining that would ever be possible. Will nodded sympathetically, forced another small swallow of the frothy swill down his throat, then set down the glass, hoping he could get away with leaving the rest of it untouched.
I feel the same way.
Will, this time we've spent together has meant more to me than I can even begin to express. Your willingness to listen and learn without judging. Your positive attitude toward our goals. Franklin leaned over and laid a cold hand on top of Will's. But do you know what has been most gratifying for me? The opportunity to bear witness to your burgeoning talents.
Thank you, sir.
I can think of no measurable way to assign a value to that. This is a priceless treasure. After so many disappointments in my personal life, I could never have hoped for more.
For me, too.
Will held his gaze and smiled shyly.
Grandfather?
Yes, Will?
You've told me that as we get to know each other, you wanted nothing more than to gain my trust.
That continues to mean more to me than I have words to express. Franklin's voice caught in his throat, choked with emotion. Moisture appeared in his hazy blue eyes. He gulped down another half glass of champagne, then took a pocket square from his crested blue school blazer and dabbed away some tears.
You don't have to say anything, Grandpa, and I only hope that, with all you've seen and heard from me these last few weeks, I have gained your trust as well.
Yes, of course. Franklin folded and pocketed his handkerchief and smiled benignly. How may I convey that to you, Will?
I think I'm ready to hear the whole story.
Franklin considered the request, savored the final bite of his soy-fed Japanese Kobe ribeye steak, pushed his plate back. Another waiting staff member whisked it away instantly, then reached over and patted Will's hand. Let's take a walk, said Franklin. They exited the old weather-worn castle out a side door that Will hadn't noticed before, depositing them on the less developed eastern side of the island. The late summer sun hung low in the sky, shadows edging toward evening. Franklin started down a trim graveled path that led through manicured gardens. Will kept exact pace with the old man's long, even strides. I grew up on this island, said Franklin, looking around as they walked. My earliest memories are all enmeshed with this place. These trees, the smells, the water, the magnificent views.
Were you born here?
Asked Will. Nearby, said Franklin, gesturing vaguely toward the mainland. Father founded the center a few years before I was born. I drew my first breath in the small school infirmary that was part of our original campus. All that's gone now, of course. By the time I was a toddler, Father had purchased the crag and the island from the Cornish family. Everything about the prophecy and our family's involvement with it starts with Ian Cornish.
Cornish came to Wisconsin after the Civil War, didn't he?
Franklin patted Will's arm. You have been paying attention, haven't you?
I figured that's why you wanted me to sort through all those old files up there, said Will, nodding back toward the tower that loomed over the castle's eastern half. To learn about the center and the Greenwood family tree.